As a mangaka at Type Moon Chapter 251 to 260, 251, Vampires and Vampires. Paused. Dio's face gradually turned ugly. Can't move. Dio's hand stopped not far from Martha. It couldn't move at all. His body seemed to have stiffened, completely unable to move. Clang. The next moment, he stepped back 2 steps. Moving his body. He could move, but why? Once again, Dio punched Martha's abdomen, hitting her. The next moment, he forcefully punched Martha's stomach again, but stopped again. This. Indeed. Even though I don't know why, I can hit her, but I can't kill her. Tisk. Time is up. Dio Brando stepped back a few steps. Lime begins to flow. Martha stepped back, rubbing her slim belly. You just stopped time, right? Just now. Indeed. Huh. I'm almost satisfied with exchanging blows with you twice, Martha said, so let's end it like this. Suicide, writer. Buzz. As Martha spoke, a faint red light flashed by. Splat. The next moment, the fist of the world pierced through Dio's chest. This is what in the world? Wow, spell. Martha said, I am ruler, and I have the authority to command every servant. But if it weren't for the revelation of the god this time, I wouldn't have thought of using this spell at all. So, when I was watching you, I secretly cast the spell You Cannot Kill Me. After all, I still wanted to try a fist fight with you. But it's difficult when you could stop time at any moment, so I used the spell first. Hey. Ha ha ha. It seems that the so-called spell is effective, too. Even though my heart has been crushed, I'm far from death. Even if only my head is left, I can survive. And Barnes. Dio shouted, and the last remaining subordinate, Isaac Barnes, knelt before Dio, taking out his own heart. Please. Lord Dio. Of course. Dio placed the heart into the gap in his chest. He inserted a hand into Isaac Barnes' neck, absorbing a large amount of blood. Before Martha could react, Isaac Barnes had already fallen to the ground. The wound on Dio's chest had completely healed. If not for the torn clothes on his chest, it would seem as if he hadn't been harmed at all. Muda. Did you think you could kill me, Dio? Like this? Too naive. You. HMPH. Dio sneered, looking into the distance. It seems that you are well prepared too, but it ends here. It seems that the other heroic spirits are about to arrive. Goodbye. Dio narrowed his eyes slightly. Wait for me, until I ascend to heaven. Boom. The next moment, Dio suddenly disappeared. Stop time. Did he escape? Martha breathed out slightly, feeling the peculiar sensation. She almost died just now. Even with the spells she used, there would be no use if Dio had been able to use the 2 remaining spells at any time. However, with this, the last remaining dead apostle by Dio's side should also. She said, her face changing. Where's the body? Dio had evaded countless pursuits from various servants. Due to the restraint of avoiding combat, he hadn't killed a single one. After all, not only servants, but even those magus and executors were not easy to deal with. Killing them wasn't as simple as it seemed. One carelessness could lead to his demise. Even so, his master had already used 2 spells. 1 command spell remained. Time. 3 hours left. 15:26. Swoosh. Dio walked under the dark sky. Isaac Barnes, who should have died, was following not far behind. Undying. As an advanced dead apostle, Isaac Barnes possessed powerful immortality. To kill him, he needed to be killed 9 times. And now, he had died 4 times already, not because of anything else but to help Dio heal. The blood of the dead apostle contained more potent energy than human blood, and absorbing such blood improved the healing effect. Injured during a battle, just kill Isaac Barnes once. This way, Dio could utilize his blood to fully recover. Phew. Dio sighed deeply. After adapting for some time, he had almost figured out that ruler was likely checking his whereabouts. Continued movement could reduce the chance of an encounter. Alright, Barnes, you go away first. The 2 of us will go ahead. Your ability is not useful in battle and will only drag me down. I understand, Lord Dio. Isaac Barnes nodded. Then, I'll wait for you at the next base. Dio nodded and started walking alone. Not long after, gunshots suddenly came from behind. Bang! The collision between the world's fist and the incoming powerful bullets. Dio turned slowly. Oh. I thought who it was. Isn't this Alucard? What? Even a monster like you is ready to attack me. While saying this, Dio looked around, considering the best place to escape. Alucard, definitely one of the servants he least wanted to face. The powerful immortality determined the fact that he couldn't kill Alucard. Even if he stopped time or shattered his head, crushed his heart, it would be of no ties. So, let's run. There was no other choice however. Before that, there was one more thing Dio had to do, since the person in front of him was Alucard. There were some things worth trying. Dio thought and said, "Hey, Akato, are you looking forward to death?" 252. The weak monster. Hey, Alucard, are you looking forward to death? Dio's voice was full of temptation. Oh, what do you mean? Alucard laughed, walking towards Dio while grinning. So, why not join me? You should know, the one who can truly grant you death is not someone else, it's me, Dio. Once I ascend to heaven, even granting you death won't be difficult. Hee hee, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. Alucard burst into laughter, tilting his head back as if there were no one around. He laughed freely, wildly, and insanely. What are you laughing at? Dio frowned. I'm laughing at you, monster, Alucard roared. Grant me death? You're wrong. You can never grant me death. Only humans can kill monsters, not you, the weak monster. The one who can kill me is only a human. That's it. It will never be someone as weak as you. Kill me? Ha ha ha, joking about killing me is not bad. Click. Alucard raised his gun. But it seems you're not aware of these things. Not aware of your own weakness. Well, let me kill you. Let me show you where your weakness lies. Weak? Me? Dio laughed coldly. Just based on you. Pounds. Just based on someone whose head is nowhere to be found. At some point, Alucard's head was knocked off. Bang, bang. The next moment, the headless body aimed the trigger at Dio, but he dodged them all. Dodge. Dodge. Dodge to your heart's content, weak monster. Keep dodging, flee in embarrassment, run away in a pathetic escape, but I will kill you. No matter where you run, you can't escape. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Although it was raining in the sky, countless bats had already covered the surroundings, creating a dark, dense mass. Each bat had sharp claws, seemingly flying aimlessly, but as soon as they approached Dio, they would start attacking. Dio covered his head. He had been feeling extremely uncomfortable since the escape began. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The next moment, the bats were pushed away from Dio. No, they were being repelled. Bang, bang, bang. Bullets shot towards Dio, but before Dio could react, the bullets automatically reversed and shot back. Chirp. What happened? A wound on Alucard's cheek healed from the bullet graze, but he was retreating. Not retreating by himself, but it seemed like something in front of him was pushing him. Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. Dio burst into laughter. Yes, that's it. It's already begun. The omen. There's no need for me to continue escaping. My stand has evolved. Now is the omen. Give up, Alucard. Give up resisting and become my servant? Ick. Ha ha ha, indeed, you're just a weak monster. Dio frowned slightly, and Alucard stopped retreating. His legs were stuck in the ground, and even though his legs were starting to break, he still didn't retreat. You guys are always like this. Always talking about giving up. That's why you're monsters. Unable to bear being weak humans? Kill me? Make me surrender? Don't get it wrong, you don't have the ability or the qualification. The only ones who can kill me are humans, and the only ones who can be my master are also humans. Is he saying this to me? Kazuya watched Alucard in the distance. He was advising himself not to abandon his human identity and not to become a monster. He came from the manga, from that stone. Even though Kazuya didn't say anything, to some extent, he understood his own abilities. The dilemma of extracting abilities from Mang. He was afraid that he couldn't resist the temptation and would one day become a monster by abandoning his human identity. To become a pitiful monster like Alucard. Honestly, he was tempted. If he really had the chance to gain the power like Alucard's, would he give up? Would he surrender? Probably, he wouldn't. He would become a monster. But, what is a human? What defines humans? The body, the soul, the spirit, or the will? It's the will. Humans that Alucard admires. In simple terms, are humans who never give up, humans who overcome fear. No matter what kind of fear they face, no matter how severe the challenge, they never give up, giving their all to face the challenge. In the end, although they seem different, whether it's Jojo or Hellsing, both sing praises to humanity. But Kazuya didn't know how he would act, How would he act when faced with fear he couldn't overcome? Fear? Escape? Or become even more powerful out of fear? Really, Alucard poses such difficult questions. 1706. Swoosh. Long arrows shot towards Dio. The next moment Dio's expression changed. Too fast. Alucard's ordinary attacks indeed had little effect on him. But this long-range arrow could still have an effect on him. The arrow could directly penetrate his defense and shoot towards him. He now understood his ability, rejection. His so-called attraction ability was, in fact, an ability that opposed attraction, rejection. Constantly rejecting everything around him, that was his ability. However, this ability also had its limits. Arrows shot by Arash couldn't be completely blocked. Moreover, there were things that even rejection couldn't resist. Rejoice, mongrel, the one welcoming your end is my noble phantasm. With this voice, Dio's face became even more unsightly. Around him, various noble phantasms appeared, and breaking through the repelling force shot directly towards his body. Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. 253. Over heaven boom. 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 Gilgamesh in the skies slightly furrowed his brow. Something doesn't feel right. Did he run away? That mongrel. How disrespectful. I personally intervened, and he could have just stayed put and waited for death, making things easier. However, in doing so, he has exhausted his 3 command spells. But time is running out. Saved. Dio let out a sigh, and his stand's ability was also deactivated. The current stand is weaker than before. If we were to explain why, the difference lies in absoluteness. Before, Dio's time stop was absolute, and almost no one could move during that frozen time, except for Jotaro Kujo. But now, his ability was not like that anymore. Powerful attacks could indeed block it. He estimated that his current ability was equivalent to reflecting attacks below B rank, blocking attacks below a rank, and only resisting a rank attacks, which could still cause him harm. That Arash, with a rank power, and that King of Heroes noble phantasm. The absolute nature of his ability has developed a flaw. But he could feel that all of this was just a prelude. With the passage of time, the repelling force he possessed gradually began to distort. That distorted thing was none other than reality. Time, space, and even the world. Everything slowly began to twist. It was as if he could rewrite reality itself. Rewriting. Reality. Is this my ability? Is this the power I am about to obtain? Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Lord Dio. What's wrong? Louis Schmidt, who used the final command spell, asked. No. Nothing. Just, I precisely felt the reality felt that I have already stepped into the fact of reaching heaven. Well. Now, for the next part, I'll take a short break. You should leave here first soon. The end is near. There's less than an hour until the real new moon arrives. And also when he ascends to heaven. But, as long as he endures this period, he wins. 1800. I felt that Dio is moving rapidly. That direction is the Cairo Tower. Martha said, frowning. No, that's not right, it changed direction, now it's collapsing. Martha clenched her teeth. This time's revelation has been cut off. That's good. We can already roughly determine Dio's location. Next. Go to Cairo Tower. Bartholomeu Lorelei gave orders. That's the most suitable place. Dio, he must be there. 1806 Cairo Tower. This 187-meter structure located on Zamalek Island can be said to be the most famous landmark in Cairo. The sky had already darkened, and the sun had completely set. Sir, do you have a reservation? The waiter looked at the approaching person and walked forward. Before he could say anything, the whole person flew to the side. I can feel it. Dio didn't bother with the waiter because he was disturbing Cairo Tower with his unrestrained repelling force. He arrived at the top of the tower, outside the chaotic Cairo Tower. It's about to start. Swoosh, swoosh muda muda. The world swung its fists, opening the arrows that were severely weakened by the repelling force. Ha ha. It's too late. I can already feel it, the arrival of the new moon, the advancement of my stand. Bang, roar. Berserker, resisting the repelling force, approached Dio step by step. The walls began to crumble. Cracks appeared under Berserker's feet and continued to grow. Finally, when Berserker stood in front of Dio,
because he remained unwavering, the entire Cairo tower split in half, tilting to both sides.
Help. Unlike before, as time is running out, even though others don't know the specific time Dio will advance, they can still feel it. Time is running out.
So there is no restrictive bounded field, nothing.
Whoever arrives first immediately starts to act. Splash. Countless chains seem to appear out of thin air, catching one person after another, knocking down debris, and rescuing the crowd. Enkidu, while saving people, looked at the sky. Berserker and Dio did not fall with the collapse of Cairo Tower. They were floating in the air, as if suspended then. They began to exchange punches. Roar. Berserker did not use his own weapon, but clenched his fists and swung at Dio. Muda. Dio laughed, and the world also threw a punch. Boom. The sound of an explosion. Not an explosion of something else, but an explosion of air. Boom, 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 boom. With every swing of the fists, explosions in the air continued to be heard. Hee. It seems that, under the current circumstances, even my stand can rival his strength. But, it ends here. Roar. Puny scum, don't be arrogant. Berserker's hand appeared, his halberd, firmly blocking the world's fist, and swung it towards Dio, sending him flying. In the next moment, Berserker also flew backward. Hee. It's too late. Dio's body stopped in midair, and the injuries he suffered were instantly restored. Everyone did not see clearly, and he had completely recovered. Indeed, the new moon is important. But most importantly, its gravity. The gravity that matches the new moon. Why do you think I climbed Cairo Tower? Why did I start the battle here? Dio and the world on his body began to emit light. It's simple. I'm searching for that point that matches the gravity conditions of the new moon. And, indeed, fate is on my side. Ha ha ha. Berserker. In the moment you were sent flying by your spear, I felt it. The location of that gravity, no mistake, it's right here. I'll pull you down. Splash. Countless chains twined around Dio, and the repelling force had disappeared somehow.
But, Enkidu blinked. The chains disappeared. In the next moment, Dio appeared, a man who had undergone tremendous changes compared to before, appeared. The world had indeed completed its evolution. The world over heaven. 254. The world over heaven. In the past, there was a man. He desired wealth and power, a man determined not to lose to anyone, but, in this pursuit, he faced obstacles and failed. In his failure, he believed that humanity had limits, so he became a monstrous being for eternal life. A vampire, with only a head left, he continued to live. Together with the body of his arch-nemesis, he slept in the Atlantic for centuries, only to be later pulled out. After that, he encountered that person Enya the Hag. He gained a bow and arrow, he acquired a powerful stand. A savior of villains, he possessed the ability to stop time. Around him gathered a multitude of stand users who served him, offering their loyalty. But, he was not satisfied. What he sought was not these. He desired eternal peace. No one could threaten his true tranquility. For this, he traveled the world. While experiencing stand abilities, he searched for ways to make himself forever at ease, constantly moving forward. He encountered individuals, causing them to fall for him one after another. The gravitational pull between people was his most frequently spoken phrase at that time. He would even unconditionally shoot arrows capable of awakening stand abilities at people, for the sole reason of destiny. Back then, he did not view anyone as an enemy. Only as subordinates, friends, or even further, as additional support. Finally, he found a way to advance further. Finally, he found a method to gain eternal peace. During the new moon, 14 keywords. At that time, he would ascend to heaven. Attaining eternal peace, truly reigning over the entire world. But before he could realize his goal, having arrived at this conclusion, he was defeated. He was beaten by that man. That man named Jotaro Kujo, who defeated fate. But fate always stood by his side. No matter when, it was always the case. Even in this different world, coincidentally, the location of the Holy Grail War was Cairo. He stayed here for several years, and he knew exactly where was most suitable for ascending to heaven. Coincidentally, the Holy Grail War began precisely at the new moon. Coincidentally, it was raining on this day. Coincidentally, Berserker's spear helped him locate the gravitational force of the new moon. And then he ascended in the manga, Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. There are numerous stand users, but only one person was found who could enhance stand abilities other than with the arrows. That person was Dio.
This character who appeared at the very beginning could be said to be the most evil person in the entire world, the most hardworking person in the entire world, and the most talented person in the entire world. He unearthed the ultimate method to enhance stand abilities with arrows.
And finally, now, after a century, his long-cherished wish has finally come true.
This man has finally reached heaven, touching upon a realm that no one else has reached, possessing that stand.
The world over heaven. This man has finally reached heaven, touching upon a realm that no one else has reached, possessing that stand.
The world over heaven. Dio slowly descended to the ground, looking at the approaching servants, magus, and executors. Looking at the people surrounding him, he felt no fear or any emotions related to fear. Now, all he could feel was peace, true peace.
Before him, everyone seemed like ants that he could easily kill.
This is the name of my stand, Dio said calmly to everyone in front of him, as if these people were no longer his enemies, as if his previous embarrassing defeat didn't exist. How about it?
It's not too late now, this is the final chance. I need to rule this world, but it also requires a considerable amount of energy. How about it? All of you are talented individuals. If you pledge allegiance to me, I will grant you eternal peace, no more fear, no more terror, no more unease, everything will be in front of you, how about it?
Swoosh! In the next moment, arrows shot towards his feet.
That's the answer, how about it? Arash, standing afar, drew his bow and said.
Although it said so, even in this place, he could feel that chill, his body getting goosebumps. The attacks were not just to negate, but also to rid himself of fear.
That's right, he felt fear, he felt terror. But
he had encountered such feelings countless times. The so-called heroic spirit precisely knows fear and conquers it.
Even, this feeling of fear made him smile. A familiar feeling.
Haha, it seems. You're refusing, right? It's okay. What about you all? If you agree, come over to my side, and especially you servants, I will grant you flesh, a true physical body to move in this world just like this. Dio's voice had just fallen, Martha's expression changed. She had sensed it. The Dio in front of her was no longer a servant but a genuine living being. Dio had truly become a vampire. Just like this, as long as you desire, I can grant you any kind of flesh. The next moment, a radiance appeared, ultraviolet light, shining on Dio. And then, Dio laughed. Doesn't it matter? The magus was stunned for a moment. He wasn't a vampire, right? Why wasn't ultraviolet light affecting him? He, of course not. I've already attained eternal peace. This current body has no flaws in it anymore, Dio laughed. The next moment, there was a subtle change in his expression. Countless noble phantasms shot towards him. Oh. The next moment, Gilgamesh squinted his serpent-like pupils at Dio. You. Hey, it's nothing serious. I just erased all of your noble phantasms. Those noble phantasms don't exist in this reality. Not time acceleration, but some kind of unknown, even more dangerous ability, according to Kurokawa Kazuya. The name of his stand is the world over heaven. The world over heaven. Bartholomew Lorelei looked at Dio. His golden hair draped down to his waist, an oddly charming appearance. Even his stand had changed, becoming bizarre.
The whole person exuded an eerie aura. And so no one, including her, noticed one thing. Dio's expression subtly changed. However, because his face was already bizarre, it didn't show. The world over heaven's ability was not unlimited. Each use would consume his physical strength and soul, although it could be restored. He could feel the depletion of his physical strength and soul recovering. But it was not limitless. That's why he only turned himself into a vampire with the ability of Stone Mask, not into an undead, or a vampire like Alucard. Although he erased this reality of him fearing sunlight. Generally speaking, the number of times he could use this ability each day was limited, after which he could only swing his fists like Muda Muda. But Dio laughed. Fate indeed always stood on his side. It seems that none of you are willing to yield to me, what a pity. Since that's the case, I'll just have to kill all of you. Can't let you become a threat to me. Dio.
Watching the alert crowd, Dio smiled again. However, not now. There's another thing before that. Get the Holy Grail. What? The next moment, just as Bartholomew Lorelei wanted to say something, Dio disappeared. Disappeared into thin air. 255, the Holy Grail.
1821. Mages Association, Cairo Branch. Underground. Servant, assassin, vanished for the radiance, the only remaining servant guarding here was her. Faced with Dio, she simply exited. HMPH. Dio sneered, crisp footsteps echoing in the underground.
Even a bounded field maintained by a servant of the level of King of Heroes could last for a while without activating EA. In front of Dio, it seemed as if the bounded field didn't exist at all. A wave of his hand casually dispelled it.
Dio also saw what was inside. Clearly saw the thing in front, the Holy Grail. 1821. Is anyone there? Answer if you hear me. Answer me. Bartholomew Lorelei said, his face growing darker, with no response.
No sound at all. So, it seems that the goal of that guy named Dio is the Holy Grail. Shakespeare nodded.
Moreover, is it spatial transfer? He instantly arrived there and killed the guards. That's why no one responded to the communication.
Darn it. Mordred sat down on the side. What the heck is that guy's ability? It looks so weird. I don't know, but whatever the ability is, it must have limits. Probably. Kiritsugu spoke uncertainly. Probably. Can't you give a more accurate term? Mordred complained. Kiritsugu smiled wryly, waved his hand, and lit a cigarette. Well, it can't be helped. After all, I'm not very familiar with stand abilities. Maybe you should ask that guy Kurakawa Kazuya? But I haven't seen him and his servant's whereabouts since just now. That guy. Gilgamesh heard this name and squinted slightly. What is he planning? That Kurakawa Kazuya. After all, he seems so relaxed. He might know Dio's current abilities and weaknesses.
Fate indeed is on my side. The world appeared behind Dio, and he placed his hand on the Holy Grail. If it were an ordinary day, I wouldn't be able to alter reality on a large scale, but now it's different. The Holy Grail disappeared, gradually fading, and then merged into Dio's stand. Haha, now it's different. The Holy Grail can completely replace me in consumption. As long as this Holy Grail is filled, I can infinitely use my stand the world over heaven. At that time, I will be a true god in this reality. Everything will be at his whim. So, let's kill them all next. Dio said and disappeared once again. He returned from the location of the Holy Grail to the location of the Cairo Tower. 1823. Two figures walked in, entering the original location of the Holy Grail. A step too late, that guy Dio. Kurakawa Kazuya looked around with a slight frown, then said to Alucard beside him, let's go. He should be at the Cairo Tower now, hurry.
I understand. Alucard smiled and followed. Kurakawa Kazuya was well aware of Dio's stand ability.
Although he had sent Alucard to stop Dio, it seemed he had still failed. That Dio eventually succeeded in ascend to heaven, obtaining the stand ability the world over heaven. Next, to take down that Dio, he could only rely on gambling. The world over heaven. Dio's performance with this stand ability can be described as outstanding, worthy of being the one of the strongest stand. In the game, its performance is roughly traversing parallel dimensions. No matter how many parallel dimensions Valentine's dirty deeds done dirt cheap traverses, it can catch up. Ability nullification, an invincible stand that can infinitely rotate, a stand that can forever keep Somkone from touching reality. There's no effect when attacking him. Wound healing, no matter how severe the injuries, they can be instantly healed. Resurrection of the dead. In the previous Jojo series, there was never a stand with such an ability. As Jotaro Kujo said, there is no stand that can revive the dead. However, this one is an exception. Copying the ability of the world, Jotaro Kujo, who possessed the ability to rewrite reality, resurrected all his fallen comrades Kakyoin, Polnareff, Iggy. Reality overwrite. This is an ability that cannot be overstated. What is the upper limit of this ability? Kazuya don't know. However, this doesn't deter him from wanting to obtain this stand. To acquire this ability, he wants to try rewriting someone's reality using over heaven, or in other words, see if this ability can produce Red Stone of Asia. Of course, Dio can't help him with these things, but Kazuya have his own ways. Noble phantasmagoria of a perfect night. This has always been with him. There's also the command spell. In that case, he can summon Jotaro Kujo, make Jotaro Kujo his own. Afterwards, it depends on whether Jotaro Kujo summoned by him can learn over heaven. In the original work, he learned it after watching a few times. Dio exerted all his strength and, after numerous calculations,
successfully awakened the ability to over heaven. In contrast, Jotaro Kujo, who gained the ability to rewrite reality after copying the world, learned it with just one sentence from Dio. It's a stand of the same type as mine.
Now, he hopes that the Jotaro Kujo he summoned will also learn it directly, just like in that game. After all, the current him can only summon the existence drawn by the current him. The strongest Jotaro Kujo he drew is the one who can stop time for about 10 seconds.
The car sped through the streets racing on the roads. At this speed, 10 minutes should be enough, Kurokawa Kazuya sighed in relief. Fortunately, the streets of Cairo were practically empty. Or rather, he had been like this recently. Cairo residents who felt danger had long stopped moving around at night. The vehicles on the road were pitifully few, and the pedestrians along the way were also scarce.
Even if there were any, they hurriedly passed by. That's why, precisely because of this, it gave him
the best time, 256, the beginning of the performance.
By the world over heaven, performing a true rewrite is not something that can be done casually.
A large number of souls and control over time are necessary. Advantages and disadvantages are two sides of the same coin, not something to be taken lightly. However, now that I have the Holy Grail, my freedom has increased, and with each servant I send into the Grail, filling it, my freedom will rise even more. Once the Holy Grail is completely filled, I can freely use this stand, and the world will truly be in my hands. Dio's body slowly appeared in the ruins of Cairo Tower.
He laughed at the group of people still discussing something and hadn't left yet. It seems like you've already anticipated your own deaths. Are you waiting here for me to come and kill you? Dio.
Roar, whatever you are. Prepared to dick, Berserker roared and charged towards Dio. The next moment, Dio's stand, the world over heaven, appeared behind him.
Transformed into a white stand, it extended its arm towards Berserker. Bang! With no force to resist, Berserker, who should have the strength to crush Dio, was sent flying.
In midair, he exploded, and his spirit entered Dio's body. What is this? Marduk couldn't believe it. He already obtained the Holy Grail, and the Holy Grail is inside his body? The crucial point isn't that. Mordred, holding his sword, said with a sweaty back. Berserker got taken down.
Yes, Enkidu nodded. Even he felt Berserker was troublesome, but he was instantly defeated. What ability is this?
Just an instant. Just a simple punch.
And he's down. Everyone, retreat, keep your distance. Keep your distance. Bartholomew Lorelei shouted, we don't know his ability yet. Everyone, stand back, Usmagecraft. Executors. I understand. Ambrose Conant nodded, everyone, prepare to attack, protect the servant. Before understanding his ability. Oh, wise choice, Dio said with a smile. Indeed, now in front of me, no matter who you are, how strong you are, or how many you are, it doesn't mean anything. Because this is my stand. The world over heaven. The atmosphere became heavy. Everyone felt a dense pressure coming from Dio. Well then, let me try. Shakespeare. Bartholomew Lorelei frowned suddenly, as if she remembered something. Right, your noble phantasm. Exactly, Castor Shakespeare said and took 2 steps forward, facing Dio. Let me show you. Saying that, a book appeared in his hand, and the pages fluttered. An unknown ability, a powerful move. Truly troublesome, truly troublesome. But interesting. If you face him in this situation, how will you fare? Facing that person when the performance begins, offer a thunderous applause.
Oh, Dio just stood there without moving. Alright, use any move you have. Let me tell you, in front of Dio, the power you pride yourselves on is so fragile.
Boom. The scene changed the next moment. The scenery in front turned into that of a mansion, with the moon hanging in the sky.
His clothing also changed, and he seemed much shorter. What is this? Dio looked at the familiar yet unfamiliar scenery and squinted slightly. Joestar family mansion. I finally found it, Dio. Prove the evidence of your demonic plot.
Jonathan, looking at the familiar figure in front of him, Dio said with some nostalgia, so this is the noble phantasm of that caster.
Buzz the stand appeared from behind him. It was still the world over heaven, but its appearance changed, its clothes changed, but its actual strength didn't change at all.
Still the vampire Dio. I've obtained the antidote, just gave it to father. How nostalgic. Jojo. Huh, what are you saying? Jonathan frowned. Hee, well, it's enough like this. It's been too long, you're no longer my weakness.
Bang. Saying that, the world's fist directly smashed Jonathan's head, who was defenseless.
Is this the end? Is it over like this? Dio lifted his head and said. No, no, it's not just that. Then Act 1 begins. Bang.
Oh, really fast, Shakespeare said. The first act is knights, but it's only an instant, and Dio smashed Jonathan's head without any hesitation. Huh, does this noble phantasm want to find the weakness of my Dio's soul? No, impossible. I have already achieved eternal peace, and weakness, such a thing simply doesn't exist in me.
No, not really, generally, yes. But how will you face him when he's in front of you? I'm curious. Act 3 begins. Dio. Exclamation mark quote. Hearing the voice, Dio quickly turned around. Jotaro. You bastard, how are you still alive? Jotaro Kujo looked at Dio, gritted his teeth, and stepped forward step by step. This time, I must absolutely kill you for real.
Dio was silent for 2 seconds. I really didn't expect that noble phantasm could bring you here in front of me. Haha. But even if you've come, so what odds it to be killed by me? You here in front of me. Haha. But even if you've come, so what is it to be killed by me? No, it's to kill you, Star Platinum. Saying that, Star Platinum appeared in front of him, and with a fierce punch, he struck towards Dio. What the hell? Dio's expression changed. Stand 7. He can use stand. It's not just a simple illusion, or a 257, overwhelming power. Bang. Star Platinum's fist and the world's fist collided.
A standoff. Dio squinted slightly. Impossible, this noble phantasm actually materialized Jotaro Kujo. Then. Aura. Don't be arrogant with mere illusions. Muda muda. Bang.
Fists clashed. Those outside could clearly see. The one exchanging blows with Dio wasn't Star Platinum, but Saint Martha.
Castor's noble phantasm, first folio, manifested was indeed just a noble phantasm. Even when activated at full power, it only had abilities comparable to an ordinary person. Making this existence exhibit powerful abilities was impossible. Therefore, Jotaro Kujo was an illusion, and then Saint Martha was clad in the guise of Star Platinum.
In Dio's CYCS, it looked just like Star Platinum.
Now, only this saint could achieve such an effect. Dio, for a moment, he actually forgot his own abilities. Even though it was just an illusion, if this continued, would time stop come out as well? Dio's face slightly darkened. The game is over. The world over heaven, and all of this.
Swoosh. The next moment, the illusion was torn apart. As long as Dio wished, this noble phantasm could make it non-existent at any time.
In the next moment, he also saw the figure that exchanged blows with him.
Oh, so that's how it is. Dio smiled. Since you rushed up, don't run away, Martha.
Whoosh. A chain wrapped around Dio's arm, and another chain pulled Martha, carrying her away at high speed. Although, in the next moment, the chain on Dio's arm had already disappeared, wiped away by him, but it still let Martha escape.
It's useless no matter how you struggle, it's futile.
Designated. Boom. The next moment, flames ignited, flames that could easily melt even steel instantly enveloped Dio. The few minutes Dio spent in the illusion were not wasted. The magus had set up their positions here. They set up a bounded field. Although time was limited, the magus of the clone squad were all skilled fighters. In these few minutes, they had already set up a bounded field that could make servants feel the danger.
But, now, even as a servant, Dio could easily kill. The flames disappeared. As if it never existed, it vanished from this illusion.
But it wasn't over yet. First was a curse. Black keys, bombs, flames, ice, long whips, poison gas, familiars, mystic eyes, bounded field. Countless attacks, one after another, seemingly endless, constantly attacking the place where Dio was.
No, Dio has already disappeared. A magus with a mystic eye of perspective said.
Are you looking for? Dio didn't finish his words, and his body suddenly moved backward.
At some point, the place he had avoided was already filled with countless blades.
It wasn't a clear attack, but rather, blades from the space of the past.
Past viewing, or rather, mystic eye of foam future viewing saw Dio's next movements, and past viewing had already set up traps. This was an attack strong enough to harm servants.
Muda. Is this all you can do to defeat me, Dio? Too naive.
Mutter the world waved its arm, and countless traps completely disappeared.
The world. Stop time. The next moment time stopped.
Hey. Dio smirked. Indeed, generally, I can't use this ability anymore. Can't stop time again. Dio glanced around, then walked towards the two servants again. 1 second has passed, Arash and Enkidu Gilgamesh is now in the air, and he can't get there even if he stops time. So, let's take care of these two first. I used my stand to give me 2 seconds of real-time decrease in stand level. So in these 2 seconds, I can only use the world, but it's enough. In this frozen time, even the world won't calculate this time. In other words, the moment time starts flowing, the world will once again become the world over heaven. 3 seconds have passed. Dio walked up to Arash. I hit the chest of that berserker earlier, but he didn't die. Now I'm not a servant, and I don't know where your spiritual core is, so just in case I'll smash your head. Bang! The next moment, the world's fist forcefully struck Arash's head. 4 seconds have passed. Dio didn't look at Arash and walked towards Enkidu. 5 seconds have passed. 6 seconds have passed. I can still move. I can still continue to stop time. Haha 1, who have become a vampire, am no longer restricted by servants. Now, how long can I stop time? 9 seconds? Or 10 seconds? 7 seconds have passed. The world's fist struck Enkidu's head. I can still stop. So it's you next, Shakespeare. 8 seconds have passed. 9 seconds. 10 seconds, 10 seconds. I can still stop time, and now I am in perfect condition. I can still feel the power.
Bang! Shakespeare also received a punch to the head.
11 seconds have passed. 12 seconds. 12 seconds. It seems that this is my current limit. You will not even realize that you have died. You won't even know how you died.
Time starts flowing. Bang bang bang. 3 servants were sent flying.
The world once again turned into the world over heaven. This round of operations also made Dio a little tired, but the Holy Grail was restoring his body.
Well, it seems that using this move once every half an hour is already the limit, but it's enough.
Archer, Enkidu, Caster, you guys die for me. The next moment, in the air, Gilgamesh unleashed his full power, completely ignoring the magus and proxies below, and roared with numerous noble phantasms aimed at Dio.
258 The arrival. Muda 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 muda, Dio laughed heartily. Each strike of his fists against the noble phantasms sent them disappearing instantly. However, in the next moment, he furrowed his brow. Tisk, should I say, worthy of being servants. They still haven't died even after this. Though Lancer and Archer were both sent flying, blood streaming down from their heads, they were still alive. However, their combat capabilities were severely compromised in a short period. Their skulls should have been shattered. Why? Arash's EX-ranked durability prevented his spiritual core from being destroyed easily. Unless his spiritual core was destroyed or he activated his noble phantasm, killing him wouldn't be so simple. As for Enkidu, apart from their noble phantasm, all other attributes were listed as truly unpredictable. Killing them wasn't an easy feat. And then, there was Shakespeare. Ah, master, I'm about to exit the stage here. How tragic. The top-notch playwright, the renowned Shakespeare, is about to exit the stage. Isn't this a tragedy? There's nothing more pitiful in the world than this, truly lamentable. But, to exit the stage once again is an inevitable tragedy. Focus on staying alive. A nearby magus, nursing his head, treated his wounds. Even though the attacks were blocked by the servants on their side, the aftermath had still inflicted significant injuries.
And as for Shakespeare, who knew what happened to him?
Clearly, he was sent flying, but observing him now, it was evident from his lively banter that he was far from death. How's it going, Arash? Quite all right. Arash touched his head and stood up, saying, it's just a bit dizzy. Oh, I'm much better now. Thanks, master. Healing Midge cracked. The radiance of healing Midge cracked enveloped Arash, Enkidu, and Shakespeare, restoring their injuries.
Well, it seems that only the ability of the world over heaven can truly send you into the Holy Grail. Alright, then. Let's start with you, Dio said, looking at Saber charging from behind him. Balmung, Muda Muda, this fragile, paper-like thing disappears with a wave of my hand.
In the next moment, Siegfried flew backward. Another noble phantasm aimed at him.
Creating distance, continuous attacks this way, they could eventually figure out the true nature of his abilities. How did this guy achieve this? Mordred gritted her teeth. How did he manage to nullify all attacks without any damage? In close combat, one punch would spell certain death.
The relentless attacks seemed never-ending. Even with so many people, they could only be picked off one by one. Gilgamesh, with a slight squint, commented, "I see, on that fist, huh?" With that, two golden vortexes appeared in front of Gilgamesh, and two noble phantasms shot towards Dio's feet. Both were A-ranked noble phantasms. Bang bang. Dio's body shifted slightly forward, and the two attacks completely made the noble phantasms disappear. I see, so as long as his fist touches something, changes occur.
What else has he done so far? Healed injuries, eradicated noble phantasms, erased magecraft, and even killed Berserker. What ability is this? Gilgamesh calmly analyzed. At that moment, a sudden flash of lightning struck, sending Dio flying from beside him.
Oh, I almost forgot about spatial displacement, didn't I? Gilgamesh stood up from Vamana's throne, but that's not enough. Trying to assassinate me with this. There should be limits to arrogance. Boom boom boom. No, that's not right. Dio, descending, squinted slightly, you've been hit for sure.
Wah. Boom. Vamana, floating in midair, exploded. Deal with one first, Dio sneered. Let's deal with the most troublesome one first. Next is you, or rather, you. What? Siegfried fired a noble phantasm directly at himself. Without turning back, he already sensed it and felt a chilling sensation from behind.
No escape for you, your end is NEAG. Siegfried.
Siegfried's master Rito, watching from a distance, clenched his fists. Although he managed to cast the command spell for forced transfer just now, the speed of the command spell was still slightly slower. Siegfried exited the stage, just hit by Dio's fist.
Dio turned around, furrowing his brow, can't you just die quietly? Still alive, Gilgamesh. You mongrel. Gilgamesh squinted slightly, blood staining his body. His bare upper body, covered in a network of red lines, uttered disdain, don't get too arrogant, mongrel. Oh. Dio half raised his head, saying, I'm already bored. This battle is becoming quite dull.
Saying so, he sat down. Let them come and fight you.
What's this? Hildarash, looking at the several individuals covered in an unusual aura that appeared in front of Dio, widened his eyes. Siegfried, Lu Bu, Giles de Rais, Hassan of Serenity, Assassin, all the servants who exited the stage so far. HMPH, don't forget who currently possesses the Holy Grail. Dio sneered, bestowing them with physical bodies again isn't that difficult, is it? However, it might be slightly different from what you know. Roar. Lu Bu roared, charging directly at Bartholomew Lorelei.
Chains obstructed his movements, but they were quickly destroyed.
Attack. Kill them. Yes. Lord Dio. The servants, devoid of any divine aura in their eyes, spoke, but... Vroom. Just at that moment, a car drifted in. Dio looked at the approaching car with a slight squint.
How long, Alucard? Kazuya opened the car door. 12 minutes and 36 seconds, my master.
A bit slower than expected. Kazuya said, observing the island around them. This Zamalek island, where the Cairo Tower stands, had now turned into ruins. Alucard, I was wondering why you hadn't shown up yet. So, you just arrived. Dio looked at him, sneering, but now, it doesn't matter who shows up. Dio, am truly invincible now. So, leave this to me. Alucard pulled out a gun, grinning, let me show him what a true monster is. No, I'll handle it this time. Kazuya said, as you said, the ones who always defeat monsters are humans, right? HMPH, one understand. Then I'll leave it to you, my master. Alucard stepped back 2 paces, putting away his gun.
Dio, Bartholomew Lorelei, servants, and everyone felt unsure of what they were listening to.
So that trick still works, huh? Gilgamesh smile know what is coming. What did you say? Dio squinted at Kazuya, you're coming. Just relying on you, Magus. Who knows, Magus. The one facing you is not a Magus or anything else, Kazuya said, with a slight change in his tone. As his words progressed, the light gradually covered Dio's vision.
When he reappeared, it was a man wearing a school uniform.
It's me, Dio. Yar, this time I'll definitely erase you completely.
Kujo. Jotaro, 259, the one who counters Dio.
You understand now, that guy's ability, can't be touched by his palms, before you master this move. The moment he was summoned, Kazuya explained Dio's abilities to Jotaro Kujo. This time, Jotaro Kujo was summoned using 2 command seals, and the time limit was 30 minutes, which was already sufficient. Regardless of the final outcome, victory belonged to whoever.
Would he lose? Kazuya didn't know. Whether Star Platinum could possess the ability to reality overwrite or not was yet to be seen.
Dio had obtained the Holy Grail. He acquired something equivalent to a saint's remains, becoming the consumable for activating the world over heaven.
As for Jotaro Kujo, he could only burn his own soul.
Only that much. Kujo. Jotaro. Dio's expression was slightly unsightly as he swung a fist in the air, and the world appeared in front of him without any change in the surroundings. Kujo Jotaro remained standing in front of him.
Not an illusion, and this feeling. Haha. Dio chuckled as he spoke, his arm draped in front of him. I never thought there would be such emotions. You once again stood before me. What's the matter? Do you want to kill me once again, Jotaro? When you say that, Kujo Jotaro said, approaching Dio, Star Platinum appearing behind him. One should handle these. I never thought you'd appear in this world. So there's no reason to let you go.
Ho ho, sure, give it a try, Dio sneered. I can feel it. As long as I send all of you into the Holy Grail, filling it, even if it's not crossing dimensions, it would be impossible to traverse into another world. But, before that, let me take care of you, Dio said, waving his hand. Jotaro, it won't be necessary for me to personally intervene.
Kujo Jotaro's eyes narrowed slightly, the world. Crack, crack, crack in an instant, time stopped.
It seems like you want those servants to attack me. However, let me take care of you first, Aura. Muda. Boom. Muda. In the frozen time, Dio laughed loudly. Don't forget, my stand is of the same type as yours. Even though I can't stop time now, I can still move within your stopped time for a while. Muda.
Aura. Boom. One of the world over heaven's wrists was directly shattered by Star Platinum's barrage. Afterward.
Aura. 2 seconds left. Dio could move within Jotaro Kujo's stopped time for 3 seconds. Then, use the remaining 2 seconds to crush his head. Aura. Boom. Time begins to flow. Ha. Dio, who was sent flying, stood up, without a scratch on him, as if he hadn't been injured at all. I told you, Mudata. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you can't possibly be my match, Jotaro. Come on, my servants, kill him.
Boom. Where do you think you're going? Gilgamesh said as he spoke, and a series of noble phantasms appeared behind him. He aimed them at Berserker and fired.
Good, let me take care of you, Mordred said, charging towards Siegfried. The previous battle isn't over yet.
Well, in that case, let those 2 assassins take care of it. Enkidu placed his hands on the ground, and noble phantasms appeared on the ground. So, that leaves only one caster for me? Arash smiled, looking at Alucard. Hey, Lancer, do you want to take action? No need. Just let them handle it. I'll stay here. That's enough. Alucard took a step back, putting away his gun. It seems your plan has gone bankrupt. Kujo Jotaro looked at the others and then turned to Dio.
Now, it's time for your execution. This guy, Jotaro. Dio squinted. Does he know the true nature of my stand? Clenching his fist, Dio thought to himself. In the previous exchange of punches, Kujo Jotaro never touched his palms, not even once. All of the world over heaven's punches were directed at his wrists and elbows. There was no room for the world over heaven to display its power. The strength, speed, and precision had all grown deeper than in his memories. This was unexpected. Kujo Jotaro tightened his fist. The current body was much stronger than before. The stand was the manifestation of life energy, powerful life energy. Although it didn't make time stop longer, the strength, speed, and precision had all grown to a certain extent. Since Dio's ability to reality override was activated through his palms, attacking his wrist should be enough. Just like dealing with a man named Yoshikage Kira. Dangerous to touch his palms. Then, don't touch them. But, the usage of the world over heaven wasn't limited to just that. Haha, it looks like you think you've found a way to crack my the world over heaven's ability. But it's impossible. My the world is invincible. Even with your stand ability, it's impossible to touch me. Die, Jotaro. Muda muda muda. You won't die. It's you who will. Boom, boom, boom. Several bullets were fired towards him. Dio hastily swung his fists to block the attacks. Alucard, don't interfere. Not enough. Kujo Jotaro stared at Dio intensely. Not enough. He had to continue using it. He needed to see through the truth of the world. Otherwise, even though his strength had grown considerably, it would still be impossible to directly defeat Dio in this state.
260. The true use of the world. Tisk, no way. I can't fully unleash the true power of the world over heaven here. Is it something like a restraining force? Or is it not?
Dio wasn't entirely sure. After all, he wasn't originally a resident of this world. He only had a bit of understanding of the world's structure. Jotaro, I'll admit it, you are my greatest enemy. If I don't kill you thoroughly, I won't truly be at ease. Only then will the world be truly complete. True peace, that is when I'm at my strongest, and it's the moment the world truly reaches its peak. And you're the obstacle.
Sizzling. What is this? Bartholomei Lorelei looked around. The world began to change. One by one, the heroic spirits that Dio had released, including Siegfried and others, began to disappear. In the next moment the world changed. It turned into a purple world. The ground was purple, with ripples flowing on its surface, like waves on water, but without falling. The sky was also purple, with numerous stars, meteors. Is this a reality marble? No. This is Bartholomei Lorelei looked at the sky in disbelief. This is the outer side of the world? The outside of the world, beyond its appearance. In the outer part of the visible world, it could be considered outer space, while the inner part was the Earth's core. Unlike the world inside the boundary, in the reverse side of the world, there were the inner seas of stars, places where phantasmal species resided. And in the outer part of the world, Bartholomei Lorelei, the queen of the clock tower, couldn't help but feel amazed. Here, she could even sense the root. However, she knew it was false. It wasn't that this place had already approached the root. It was undoubtedly closer to the root than anywhere else she had felt before, and reaching the root from here was simpler than in ordinary places. No, this isn't the outer side of any world. Dio waved his hand, saying, this is a more special place, very close to a certain location. But, it's still not close enough. Haha, the world over heaven is also storing its limits slightly now. I still can't reach that place, but as long as I absorb all your souls, the souls of you sinners who oppose me, I'll be able to reach it, the place carried by the boundary record. The boundary record. The throne of heroes, huh? Kujo Jotaro mentioned the information he had been told by Kazuya. In that case, Dio's goal was already exposed. By absorbing the souls of everyone, all those who opposed him, he would surpass all existence. He would become a complete existence. The advancement of strength wasn't addition, but multiplication. Afterwards, if he swallowed the boundary record, was he planning to devour that thing too? It's troublesome. Kazuya, along with Kujo Jotaro, almost said simultaneously. Do you have any ideas? Kujo Jotaro looked at Dio and said in his heart. Well, I do have some methods. What about you? Have you mastered over heaven's usage? Although, it's a bit difficult, I've managed to grasp it after watching so many times. Now, Dio's fists can't truly harm me anymore. However, it's just a recent mastery, and there are limitations on the soul. I still can't reach the level of Dio. But, isn't it already enough? Ah yes, it's already enough. Kujo Jotaro said as he walked step by step toward Dio. Oh, even after seeing such a scene, you still have the will to fight? Facing me, Dio, you must be cleared. Joestar's bloodline must be eradicated without any mercy? Whether to kill you or to use the true power of the world over heaven. Saying that, the atmosphere around intensified, and when Kujo Jotaro regained his senses, Dio had already appeared in front of him. Disappear along with all existence, Jotaro. The world over heaven directly pierced through Jotaro's chest. Is it over? Watching the scene in front of him, others couldn't do much. This space seemed to have a strange gravity, especially for the servants. They could even sense that there was something pulling them from somewhere. That wasn't Dio's attack but the inherent attraction of the throne of heroes itself. Relaxing at this moment would truly be pulled back. This was the most important reason why Dio chose to fight here. My hands will surely reach the truth. Dio opened his arms with his back to Jotaro. The so-called truth of those who don't exist.
Dio slowly turned his head, and Jotaro still stood there. Normally, he should have completely disappeared by now, including his existence. But, Aura, Star Platinum suddenly appeared, and with a punch, Dio was sent flying, while also rewriting a certain truth on Dio's body. What is this? Instead of being surprised by being blown away, he was more surprised by something else. Is this over heaven? Did Jotaro, this Joestar descendant, actually learn to manipulate my truth so quickly? Impossible, impossible. Could it be same? The same type of stand. Is the world and Star Platinum the same type of stand? He actually learned my truth. Joestar, you're the one who should be killed first in any world. Jotaro. Truth, huh, I see. Gil. Adapted. Enkidu looked at Gilgamesh, who was standing up, and said, "Well, I am the king of heroes after all." Gilgamesh smiled and said, "Let the farce end here. So, your ability is to rewrite reality." Indeed, it's a troublesome ability even for me. But, an obstruction. Dio waved his hand. In the next moment, everyone except Jotaro and his companions disappeared from this space. Now there's no time to deal with you guys. Jotaro, no matter what, I must kill you. One person who has mastered the truth is enough for me.